And for those of you just joining us, welcome to Oh my gosh, I'm getting stumbling already. Welcome to Relationship Secrets Unlocked. And now I want to bring up somebody near and dear to my heart. We've had some squirrel talks and some crazy things. And I want you guys to extend a warm welcome to PJ Dixon.
What's up, beautiful people?
Motivational speaker. I'm like, look at him, he's jumping in. I haven't even done his bio yet.
Super glad to see everybody.
He's that excited. Go PJ, go PJ, go
Super
PJ
glad
in
to
the
be here.
house.
Super glad to be here. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just got excited.
It's okay. You see, this is how much fun we love talking to each other. We're just like, we're in it, we're having fun. So PJ, as I was saying, you're a lifelong motivational speaker, an international transformational coach, and you just get results. Like, big ups to you.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Oh my gosh. So PJ, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I have a very rare form of muscular dystrophy that was expected to take my life by 7. And I turned 51 this year. So I figure one of two things: either I've got something good to do in this life, or God's pissed and I have to work off some bad karma, which is probably the case. I'm probably in trouble somewhere. So I grew up not really concerned about my disability. You know, little difficulty in 7th and 8th grade, little difficulty in high school and early college. But for the most part, I didn't really concern myself too much with my disability because I always focused on where I wanted to go and what I wanted. And there's always a way to get there. No matter the fear, no matter the worry, no matter the obstacles or resistance, if you really want to get somewhere and find a way to experience things, you can. So I jump out of planes, indoor skydiving, aqua jetpacking, climbing in the Grand Canyon, wheelchair rugby, downhill snow skiing, water skiing. Although I'm not a very good water skier, apparently you're supposed to ski on top of the water. I ski under the water, so I'm not a good water skier. But in 97, I sat down, I moved to Arizona, and I sat down and with my spiritual teacher at the time, and she said, I want you to go home and pray tonight and just simply listen and just ask God, what do you want me to do in life? Right now, I'm not trying to be religious, but I'm a pretty spiritual guy and I always have been. So I said, sure, easy enough. So I sat down, and what I realized was it was really easy after my question, God, what do you want me to do, to just drop into stillness. Now, stillness is something that is a deep, deep part of meditation that most people don't ever really know how to get to. And so I just, in that night, I literally dropped into stillness. And the moment I became still, a pillar of golden light came through the ceiling, hit me in the top of the head, filled up my entire being, and said love. And I knew, like, I was like, oh, that's easy. Like, I've been loving my whole life, right? That's easy because my whole life has been about love. I've been a motivational speaker since I was 7 years old. I've been on stages in front of cameras. That was easy. And I thought, okay, well, that's easy, no big deal. But what I didn't realize was a few months later, I was going to be hit by an SUV, tossed out into 3 lanes of traffic, and almost rolled over. As I was flying through the air into 3 lanes of oncoming traffic, I had time enough to pray just to say, God, please, whatever you do, don't let the driver roll over my pelvis. And as I hit the ground and I rolled, and I heard my wheelchair crumple underneath his SUV, his front driver's side wheel came to rest leaning against my pelvis. Had he rolled 2 more inches, he would have crushed my pelvis. And so it just so happened that inside of the restaurant he was coming out of was an EMT team who rushed out, picked me up, took me across the street into the hospital where I was able to get treated straight away. So I wasn't supposed to die that day, right? I was supposed to go on a bit of a journey. So for the next 4 months, I was in excruciating pain. And I literally have been a motivational speaker my whole life. And so I was in excruciating pain. I couldn't sit up without pain. I couldn't lay down without pain. I couldn't roll over without pain. I couldn't sit in the bottom of the shower without pain. I couldn't sit on the toilet without pain. I couldn't feed myself without pain. I couldn't push my own wheelchair without pain. Everything hurt. And so finally, on my last day of physical therapy, 4 months of physical therapy, my PT said, look, PJ, I don't know what's wrong. He said, I've consulted all of my books, all of my manuals, all of my mentors, all of my college professors. all of my college books, and he said, I don't know what's wrong. And he said, one of my mentors suggested that I talked to him just a couple of nights ago. He said that maybe your pubic bone popped out of place when you hit the concrete. And because of the nature of the curvature of my spine and how tight my hip flexors are, I'm not able to fit in like an X-ray, traditional X-ray or a CAT scan very easily or anything like that. So they couldn't get a real read on my hips. So he pushes through my pelvis bone and palpates he pushes through my pubic line, feels my pelvis bone, it's popped out of place. And he says, that's the problem. Now here's where it's important. Okay, and this is why it's important for your audience. Because he said, I can put this back into place. He said, sure enough, your right hip bone is popped out of place. He said, I can put this back into place, but it's going to hurt. He said, you don't need surgery, but it's going to hurt. So it's the same as you need coaching in relationships or you need counseling in relationships. Whether they're good or they're bad, you need some support, some outside support, most often. Not always, but most often. And so I said, if you pop it back in, is it, what's it going to be like? He's like, I don't know. He said, it's been out for 4 months. It could still hurt. I said, you know what? I can't do anything now. And my emotional state is plummeting. This isn't working for me. What's going on right now is not working. So I said, let's do it. So he grabbed a hold of that pubic bone, popped that sucker back into place. It hurt like crazy, right? But as soon as he popped it back into place, as soon as my hip was in alignment, I felt this overwhelming sensation of all the pain leaving me. All the pain was gone. All of a sudden, there was nothing but appreciation for the pain being gone, which turned into gratitude, this outward expression for being able to be liberated again. And that gratitude immediately turned into this sense of love. And that in that very moment, I realized that just a few months earlier, when that pillar of light came through the ceiling, filled me up and said, love, it wasn't telling me to love other people because I was good at that already. It was reminding me to love myself because I'd come to take for granted, even with my disability, I'd taken for granted the fact that I wasn't in pain, the fact that I had all of this freedom, the fact that I had a better life than most able-bodied people, right? I had taken it all for granted. And so in that one moment, when I chose to go through the pain, immediately going through the pain, boom, I popped back into alignment and my life was filled with appreciation, gratitude, and love for myself. And everything changed from that moment. And the moral of the story for the relationships out there is that while you might be sitting in a painful situation, maybe not all the time, but maybe there's a part of the relationship that needs conversation or needs to be looked at or analyzed or discussed, right? Or maybe you need to look at yourself to see how you want to change. It's worth going through the pain because on the other side is the freedom. On the other side is the alignment. On the other side is the understanding. On the other side is what's really juicy and beautiful and delicious. Love.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, like I got goosebumps just listening to that. I just got I got goosebumps. I've just seen a question come through.
Yes.
That says, what if your partner doesn't want to go to a coach and sees couple therapy as for people that's on near divorce?
So is that the end of the question?
Yeah. How do they talk to their partner?
Sure. So the first thing is, if you're ready to transform, I always say this, change is inevitable. Transformation is a choice. So that relationship is going to change whether you like it or not. Your body is going to change whether you like it or not. But transformation is a choice. How is it going to change? How are you going to transform? How is the relationship going to transform? By choice or by happenstance, by consequence? Don't let it happen by consequence. Because if it changes by consequence, then you are subject to whatever it produces for you and brings to you. So if your partner is unwilling to go, then I would strongly encourage you to go and get the coaching yourself or the counseling if that's better for you. But coaching tends to be a lot faster. There's different kind of methods that coaches often use compared to a therapist, especially a coach that has NLP, neuro-linguistic programming training. These coaches can help you move through, something that might take 10 or 12 years in therapy could take 10 or 12 minutes through NLP. So anyway, to answer your question more thoroughly, go and get the coaching yourself and go open, not with resentment, but with this joy, this thrill, this excitement that you're going to be nurturing and bringing yourself back alive. Because if you're in an unhealthy relationship, you know, I heard the last people say it takes, you know, it takes two. There's this great book that's called It Takes One to Tango. It only takes one person to step across. One person has to say, I'm sorry. One person has to put in the effort. One person has to look at themselves. One person has to make a change. And by default and by definition, that relationship is going to change because the relationship is nothing but a recipe. And right now, it might be a recipe for disaster, or it might be heading down the bad path, or it might be getting better. I'm not sure where you are. But if you're on the brink of divorce, and you feel like, oh, like I want to go, but he doesn't, I presume it's a he who doesn't want to go, right?
That's the question, yeah.
Yeah, I figured it usually is. Go anyway, because what happens is you can start to feel really good about yourself and you can identify, did I do everything that I could? Am I in a healthy relationship? Is there something that I can do? Is there a way that I can listen to him? Is there a way that I can show up and give back to him? And when you know that you've nurtured and loved and given everything, both to yourself, please hear that, both to yourself and to your partner. If you have to walk away, then you can walk away with your integrity in hand and knowing that you're moving away, not from a disempowered place anymore, but from a space of empowerment. The therapy or the coaching will help you to become empowered enough to say, I want this. And if you can join me, wonderful. And if you can't, this is what I'm going to do. Not that you're giving them an ultimatum, but that you're making a choice for you. You're choosing to transform, okay? And here's the beautiful thing. If you start to realize what his love languages are, right? If you haven't read the 5 love languages yet, you might consider that. If you haven't looked at Tony Robbins' 6 basic human needs, you might study that a little bit. If you can't find what his love language is, well, let me say it differently. If you can find what his love language is, if you can nurture him, if you can strengthen that relationship, what's going to happen for his thinking about you? He might say, I don't want to lose you. I've been kind of a terrible person. How do I fix this? But he might also still take you for granted. And if he does, healthy relationships, first of all, are not give and take, they're give and receive. There's a profound difference between taking and receiving, right? So if you
that's key there.
It is. If you feel taken advantage of, if you feel taken for granted, if you feel like you're underappreciated, then trust that feeling and go and nurture yourself, okay? And then you'll feel strong and dynamic and alive again to make a decision to stay with him or to step away and move in a direction that's healthier and happier for you, okay? Start with you first.
So,
is that okay?
I don't need to say anything else. I could just go like mic drop.
Boom, boom.
Boom, mic drop. I love it.
Mic drop. That's what we do. That's what we do here.
And you know, to add on to PJ's thing, there's 2 certainties we have in our life.
Thanks,
we
Michelle.
all want to be loved, and we all are fearful of not being good enough for that love.
Yeah, let me add to that. Okay, there's only 2 conversations that you will ever have with anybody, especially your spouse. There's only 2 conversations you will ever have. I need to be loved by you, or I want to be loved by you, or I love you. So only 2 conversations, I love you, or I need or want to be loved by you. These are the only 2 conversations. And even though your husband may not be showing up, right, and giving you love, you may be saying, I need to be loved by you, right? But I wonder how long has it been since you said, I love you? Okay. And I'm not, look, it can't all rest on your shoulders, but if you leave everything on the field, as they say in sports, meaning you say, look, I gave you my whole heart. I really tried. I faced my fear. It comes down to this. It comes down to this above everything else. Are you thinking your thoughts, or are your thoughts thinking you? And I want this to be crystal clear, because when you think your thoughts, you are in control. Your conscious mind is making the decisions for you. But most of the time, it's the fear factor that rises up from the limbic system, right? The amygdala, the fight or flight part of your brain that says, no, I'm afraid. And it comes out in resistance and anger and frustration and disappointment and resentment and distance. So be very careful about this anger that might be rising, or this fear that might be in you, because it's likely controlling the conversations that you have. The conversations you're having. Step back, take a breath, reconnect with your own heart and soul, and then speak from the I love you.
I love that.
Thank you.
I just gonna see if there's any chat questions while I'm there.
Okay.
I love it. Here's a question that's just come in on my email.
Okay.
How do I let go of the past?
How do you let go of the past? Wonderful question.
How do you let go in that relationship?
Oh, so how do you let go of, oh, I'm going to assume that
I'm assuming this person's had some issues in the relationship,
right,
and I want to move forward, but doesn't want to let go.
Sure. Okay. So the reason that you're not letting go, let's first of all understand that there's a clear distinction between your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. You are not the one who's holding on. The unconscious mind is holding on because in the past, whatever happened hurt you. And so your unconscious mind goes, hey, I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to attach to this because I want to try to remind you, the conscious you, not to do that again or not to trust that person again because you could get hurt again. So this is your unconscious mind trying to put a buffer or a cocoon around you to protect you from opening up your heart again and stepping out into a place where you could just get hurt again. So you have to consciously say, you know what? I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to believe that story. We all make mistakes. And maybe it was 3 years ago, maybe it's 4 years ago, maybe it's 10 years ago, maybe it's 20 years ago. But listen, would you hold your own child accountable for something they did 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago? No, because it was 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago. Would the person that you're with right now do the same thing today that they did then if they found themselves in the same situation? If the answer is yes, then you should check, is it yes because I'm scared or is it yes because I know their character? Okay. And if it's yes because you're scared, then you want to just physically step back. Like you can literally physically step back when you're thinking about this and say, okay, let me look at this and process it from this place of, okay, I'm holding on to this because I'm scared. It's that fear again. I'm holding on to this because I'm emotionally scared of trusting. If I open up and I trust, then I could get my heart hurt again. And so my unconscious mind is here to protect me. And it's going to separate me from this person that I love because it cares more about my survival. And the unconscious mind, that part of the brain, the fight or flight part of the brain, thinks if you can hurt me, you can kill me. And so it's going to create this distance, this separation, this lack of faith, this lack of trust in the other person and create a distance and a separation to protect you because of the pain. But if you shift that pain and you step out there and you say, you know what, I'm going to let this go and I'm going to make an effort to speak from a place of love again and forgiveness, then it will change because the conscious mind is making the decisions. But right now, if you're not letting go, it's because you're letting the unconscious mind hold on. Okay, that's the unconscious mind is making the decisions for you. Now, let me say one real quick thing. Okay, if you see this image in your head, right, whatever happened 3, 4, 5, 10 years ago, right, whatever you can't let go of, see the image in your head. We all see images in our head. Is it a movie? Is it a still picture? Is it color? Is it black and white? Is it clear or is it blurry? Where is it? Is it inside your brain or is it right in front of your face? Or is it like sort of when you see it, do you see it sort of diagonally down or diagonally back, or do you see it above your head or behind your head? When you see it, when you visualize it, where do you see it? So the reason I'm asking you these questions is because if you want to change it, change the recipe. So if it's color, change it to black and white. If it's a movie, stop it and turn it into just a still picture. If it's panoramic where you could look around and see everything around, change it to a framed photo, okay? If it's clear, make it blurry. If it's close to your face, push it behind you. Better yet, make it small, wad it up, and make it black and white, make it blurry, make it small, wad it up, throw it over your shoulder. And then the moment it's behind you, you will immediately release some of the attachment to that pain. And it's not that the pain has yet gone away, but in the brief amount of time that I have with you, this is one way that you can start to let go of that. So every time the image comes up, every time the thought comes up, change its color, make it black and white, make it blurry, make it so blurry it looks like static, you can't see it, wad it up, throw it behind you, turn it around, turn it inside out, tear it up, throw it over your shoulder. Every single time you get rid of it, whether you flush it down the toilet or throw it over your shoulder, a little more of it will go away, a little more of it will go away. Now, if I had time with you, I would take you through a more full process. But that alone, just by changing what you're seeing, what you're hearing, if you hear, like, I just keep hearing him say this and this and this, and I can't let it go. Change the sound of the voice. If you hear it in your left ear, change it to behind you or in your right ear. If you hear it clearly, change it to sort of scratchy and like real distant. Does it sound close or does it sound far away? Change that. When you change these sensations, whether you're changing the way you see it in your head, the way you hear it in your mind, or the way you feel it in your body, when you change these things and move these or get rid of them, all of a sudden the feeling and the emotion changes because you're changing the recipe. Make sense?
Makes sense. Total sense.
Okay.
I've got a question that come in here for you, PJ. It says, I was about to ask about the image in the brain and flashbacks. Why is it happening? Like the science around it.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the science is simply that the unconscious mind is reminding the conscious mind not to get yourself in that situation again. So it keeps bringing up those images because it's saying, hey, look, this was terrifying. Hey, look, this was painful. Hey, look, don't do this again because this could kill us, right? And while it may not physically kill you, again, that part of the brain goes, if you can hurt me, you can kill me. So it's going to do everything that it can to protect you. So this is why the flashbacks are going to keep coming up, because it's saying, be careful, don't go there. Be careful, don't go there. Be careful, don't go there. So once you empower yourself and become more empowered and take control of your conscious thinking and change the qualities, the visual and the audio, what you're hearing, and the physical sensations in your body, once you start changing those and you say, no, I want to feel like this, you ask yourself two questions. One, do I like how I'm feeling right now? No, you never ask that question if you're having a good day. But if that flashback is coming back, and catch it early, catch it really early. The moment you see the first sight in your mind, the moment you feel the first sensation in your body, the moment you hear the first thing in your mind, the moment you feel the first sensation or emotion, the moment that you recognize that, change those and ask yourself this question. Do I like how I'm feeling right now? And the answer is going to be no. So say, okay, what would I rather feel instead? And then when you say, what would I rather feel instead? Notice that I'm very matter of fact about it. Okay, what would I rather feel instead? As if it's like changing my ice cream flavor. Yeah, you know what? I think I want chocolate instead of vanilla. Okay, fine. No worries. It's literally that easy. Why? Because your emotions, consider your positive emotions like a summer house. You've been there 15, 20, 100 times. You know where it is. You don't need GPS to get there. So the moment you say, I'd rather feel joy and patience and peacefulness. Okay, then just shift to those. It is that easy. And you're going to want to argue with me and say, no, it's not that easy because my mind keeps saying these things. That means you are subject to what your mind is creating. You are not thinking your thoughts. You are letting your thoughts think you. Instead, stop for a moment and say, look, I'm going to think about something completely different. So go from negative to neutral. Think about something completely different. Don't just think about something different. Lose yourself in it. Like study the mountains and the way the color is hitting the mountains on the sunset and how the mountains, are they blue? Are they purple? Are they like sort of a midnight blue? What do the shadows look like? If you were going to paint it, what colors would you use? Once you lose yourself to that, you've gone from negative to full neutral. Then from full neutral, you can shift over to positive.
I like that. I love that.
Thanks.
It's lessons just in there.
I
love it. And that brings me to something special you got for everybody that's watching.
Sure, absolutely. If you like what I'm saying, I've been an international speaker and coach, for years and years and years. So if you would like to sit down and say, can you chat with me for a few minutes? I've got a 20-minute free call for you. Jump on a call with me. Let's chat for 20 minutes, see where you are, see what we can do to make a few adjustments. And if you like it, then we can talk about moving forward. So I think that, I don't know if my link is below. I don't see it below. So
it is below, but as well, we'll be emailing it out to everybody as well.
Perfect. Or just hit me up at pj@pjswisdom.com. pj@pjswisdom.com.
Right. So I'm going to go. Is there any more questions in the audience? Anybody else got a question? So I'm just going in there. And what if it's back for, sorry, I'm just going to go through this question.
Sure.
And what if it's back for a good experience, but yeah, it's situation that can't come back. You're very inspiring and the examples really helping.
Oh, good. I'm glad that the examples help. Thank you.
I'm like, sorry, I'm like trying to read that, guys.
But I missed the first part. I don't understand what that is. What about back?
So it says, what if it's back for good experience?
What if it's
so back? You're getting the message, the image, I'm assuming the image back. but it's about a good experience.
Oh yeah, that's great. Then if you like the image that you're getting back for a good experience, make it brighter, bring it closer to your face, make it bigger, make it, if it's just a picture, make it a movie, right? Step into it, physically feel it. Can you hear the sounds? Can you smell the smells? Like literally turn it into real life and step into it like in a Disney film, like it's full Technicolor, and step into it and just let it wash over you. And as you do, it will change. Like I'm even tingling in my mind right now, just the idea of stepping through this portal into this amazingly beautiful image. And you're just going to fill up with this patience and peace and joy and love, because the mind feels like it's been washed with these good feelings, these good memories, these good sights, these good sounds, these good smells.
I love it. You're getting a lot of love in the comments. You get a lot of love of the powerful. Everyone's just loving it.
Oh, yay!
They love it to talk PJ.
Yay!
They're
Awesome.
loving it. And then and Bar's like amazing.
Thank you.
So I see, like PJ, you just dropping the mic the whole time. You just like dropping the mic.
That's because I am handicapped and I can't hold it very well.
Oh my! That's how you know it's real, people. That's how you know it's real. I love it. Oh my gosh. So PJ, I've got one last question to ask you.
Let's do it. One last question.
If you had to give somebody in a relationship that's, especially with the situation going on right now, that's a little bit, it's a little bit on the rocks, but they still want to be together. What's one thing that they can do right now to just shift that needle a little bit?
One thing that I would say for every couple who's on the rocks, but they want to make it, is give me 1 sec. I want it to come through me instead of from me. Okay. Begin to consciously choose to change the state that you show up in and make an effort to change the state of the other person. Love is the willing exchange of oneself for oneness. Love is the willing exchange of oneself for oneness. If your marriage is struggling, it's probably because you're thinking about you. Shift that and pour into them. Find how they like to receive their love. Nurture them with that. And the law of reciprocity, especially with a couple that's struggling, that wants to still make it, the law of reciprocity will kick in. And the more you nurture them, the easier it will be for them to let go and begin to nurture you. Okay? What happened yesterday cannot be fixed. We can talk about it and resolve it so we don't have it the same experience in the future. But always remember that love is not about yourself. Love is the willing exchange of oneself and one's ego about oneself for oneness. When you love someone, there doesn't feel like there's any separation. There's only connection, only unity, only oneness.
Oh, thank you. That was a message that everybody needed to hear. I love it. I love
good.
it. I love
Thank you.
And that, as my husband on the other side of the screen is saying, that was just beautiful. And that applies to everybody. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
With that, I say, guys, on behalf of everybody in the chats and everything, I say a big thank you for sharing with us and sharing your heart with us.
Thank you.
Everybody, that was PJ Dixon.
What's up? I love you all.
I love it. Well, we'll just have a little dance. Okay, everybody, come on, get up. We got to have a little dance party. Before we get the next speaker up, let's have a little bit of a dance party. Woo! Move a little bit, get that blood flowing. Get us all ready for the next one. Oh, love it, love it, love it.
Okay, beautiful people, listen, I love you. And even though I don't know you, I have mad love for you. So if you need to chat, jump on a call with me, okay? Have a great day, everybody, and a beautiful rest of your summit. All right, love you tons.